within that reality, we can choose. But to be honest, it's so much easier when our choice is coming from the Father's heart than us trying to, what should I choose? How should I choose? And we get caught up with our choice. It's not so much our choice, it's our aligning our choice with the Father's desire.
Yeah.
And of course, when you align it with the Father's desire, it can manifest through us. You know? And I think that manifestation is how God intends us to bring about the restoration of all things. It is a realm that is connected to our consciousness. And as my consciousness was expanded and my mind was renewed, then that realm became accessible. I could, it's like the Father showed me that within my mind, I had access to that realm. So originally, when I was
walking, you didn't know it, but you didn't know it because of your earlier programming.
No, because I had linear
came out of by your deconstruction.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was part of my deconstruction because the Father took me on a journey to walk in my own mind. Where it was sort of somewhat, you know, I saw all the framework of my thinking, the pillars, 9 pillars that held up my thinking, which all needed to be deconstructed. Eventually, he took me to a gulf, like a chasm, that on the other side of it there were doors. But I was like, well, they weren't locked, but they were closed. But there was a gulf, if you like, in between where I was in my then present way of thinking, my consciousness, to where I am now, because there is no gulf. That gulf was in my own mind. Therefore, the Father said, do you want me to bridge this gulf? And I'm like, yeah. He said, well, I'm only going to do it once. But there were many doors. So he bridged the gulf and the door opened and I saw all the possibilities I could choose.
So was the bridge Jesus?
No, there shouldn't be a bridge. There's no need for a bridge. But in my mind, the ability was separated from what I believe was possible. That's just what it was. It was in my own mind that there was I didn't believe I could operate non-linearly. And I didn't believe I could operate multidimensionally, really. Yes, probably heaven and earth, but not really the fullness of multidimensional living. So I didn't think it was possible. So when that door opened, what he was saying is this whole, you know, and my immediate response to seeing all these possibilities were, which is the right one? Because I was still programmed by getting it wrong, afraid of getting it wrong because there must only be one choice. And the Father just sort of smiled and said, well, they're all right because they're all coming from our relationship. So you can choose any of them. Now, when I came out of that encounter, that's when I first chose a reality. Because I came out of that encounter, which was quite an overwhelming encounter, and I looked at my watch and I saw that I need to be in the office for an appointment in 15 minutes. I was still, you know, wasn't ready. I didn't even showered. I hadn't done anything. I'd just been spending a time with God, and I got lost in it because it was such an amazing encounter. Then I had a choice. I could have contacted the person to say, well, I'm going to be late. I could have forgot, I'm not going to bother showering or whatever. I'll just rush out and get down there as quick as I can. Or I chose the reality that I'm going to be there on time without having to do either of the other two things. And then time stopped. I was in a bubble where the clock was moving, but my watch wasn't. So I was existing by observing the passage of time, but it wasn't affecting me. So I tested it out, went into the garden, watered the plants in the greenhouse, did a number of things. And then, having done all that, I discovered I didn't have the car that day, so I had to walk, which normally takes 12 to 15 minutes just to walk. But my watch was still saying 1:45, even though the clock in the kitchen had gone past the 8 o'clock. So I carried on walking, walked down to the office, my watch started ticking. Now it is a perpetual watch, and it's one of those things that gets, you don't ever have to charge it up or anything. It operates on light, light charges it. So I got to the office and I got there before 8 o'clock, So, but that was the first reality I chose once my mind had been expanded that, hey, possibilities are there for you to choose one. But you can't do it with unbelief and doubt. You can't be double-minded. Because if you're double-minded, more than one possibility exists and neither of them will manifest. Or what you already believe will continue to function. That's generally how it works. So the quiff is popped, or the quantum wave function collapses when no other possibility exists. Every one fades away, and that actually manifests into a reality. Now, I've chosen that in lots of different things to do lots of different potential things in the future of that, to travel in time quickly, to shorten flights on planes, to do all sorts of stuff, just because when they align to the Father's heart. I didn't do it as a party trick. Oh, great, I'm going to choose the lottery win or something. I didn't choose any of that. Hi, everyone. We're starting a Patreon page, patreon.com/freedomarc. And we would like to invite you to partner with us in taking the message of God's unconditional love, limitless grace, triumphant mercy to a bigger global audience.